Yo, yo, yo. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, everyone. My name is Justin Moore, founder of Creator Wizard, where I teach you how to find and negotiate your dream brand sponsorships. Today, we are going to be talking about the 10K Brand Deal Challenge. Holy cow, I am so excited for this. Drop it in the chat where you're tuning in from. I just got back from a very, very lovely vacation with my family in Alaska, if you can believe it. Just got back late last night, actually. Bucket list thing. Did not go on a cruise. Found an airfare deal and kind of YOLO'd it, rented a car, drove all around and did a bunch of amazing things. Like got to do like a whole sightseeing tour. We took the train, the Alaska Railroad, down to a place called Seward and took a boat tour of the fjords called Kenai Fjords. Saw a ton of wildlife, like a pod of orcas, fin whale, like a bunch of humpback whales. Like it was amazing. And then the final day yesterday, or no, I guess Sunday, we got to go visit a kennel of sled dogs that have actually, like Alaskan Huskies, that have actually gone on the Iditarod, if you know the 1,000-mile race across Alaska. So it was amazing. It was very, very fun, and I feel refreshed. But I'm like, I'm ready because we are just about to kick off a really exciting challenge here in my business, Creator Wizard, called the 10K Brand Deal Challenge. And kind of wanted to talk about some of the high level themes here of what we're going to be doing in the challenge. So again, let me know where you're tuning in from. I see Cheryl R. Flo tuning in on Instagram. We've got Coach Powers Media. We've got Petite Vein. We've got Giselle Folletti. Lexi Marcella, Bear Minimum Live, Disney Mom Life 1. Good to see you here tuning in on Instagram. Giselle says, I lived in Anchorage, Alaska for a year, and it was absolutely beautiful and amazing. Glad you guys had a good trip. Yeah, it was a really amazing trip. So that's super cool that you used to live there. And yeah, it was really, especially during the summertime, it was really a cool experience to get to do that. Honestly, being on that train and just like literally everywhere you looked, it was just like vista upon vista. It was just like, it was a really special thing. So yeah, as you know, these live streams that I do are for y'all. So any questions that you have around brand deals and partnerships and negotiation and so on, please make sure to drop it in the comments, because I want to make sure I'll get to those a bit later in the live stream. But for those of you who are just tuning in, if you did not know, if you have been living under a rock, I am doing something that I'm very excited about. It starts on Thursday. So in just 2 days, actually enrollment ends tomorrow at midnight. It's something called the 10K Brand Deal Challenge. And so it's basically this 7-day sprint where I am going to be doing live sessions kind of in a private environment to help you get your first or next 10K brand deal. One of the questions that I get a lot is, what does it actually take to get a 5-figure brand deal? This seems like a very mysterious or enigmatic thing. Like what I think most people's conception of that is like, okay, yeah, maybe I've done a 1K brand deal. So is like the only way to get a 10K brand deal to do like 10 times the amount of work. And that really could not be further from the truth. There are so many ways in which you can articulate and help the brand understand like, hey, it actually makes way more sense paying me more money, not for 10 times the amount of work, perhaps some other things that I can provide value, other ways in which I can provide value to you. And it all comes down to a positioning exercise, a conversation with the brand, helping tie what you're going to be doing to them to their business outcome. And so this is really what we're going to be focusing on starting on Thursday for the next 7 days. And I'm really, really excited. It's going to involve, there's like a pop-up private community in my pop-up space in my private community. You get to network with other peers. In fact, you know what? Let me pull up the challenge page. So as I'm talking about this, it'll be more clear what I'm talking about. Let's see here. Share screen, entire screen. Do I want to? Yeah, entire screen. That's what I want to do. Boom. There we go. So, You can see here a bit more about it. Again, it's $97, so fairly modest investment, I think. We're going to be talking about the 10 critical mistakes that keep creators posting for free forever. I've got some case studies, some success stories on there, what you'll get. I'm going to be doing, one of the things I'm excited about is I'm going to be doing a live brand outreach audit where I actually look at real pitches and kind of deconstruct them, see what I would propose about how to do things better and so on. And so, yeah, I'm very excited. I've got the, challenge schedule on here, and got an again, success stories, got a FAQ, all that. So if you want to join, would absolutely love to have you. You can go to creatorwizard.com/10K challenge. I'm going to drop it here in the, what am I? It's saying, oops, it's saying I have to activate channels. What does that mean? I'm trying to drop a chat in here and it's saying I can't. Oh, there we go. It just worked. So it's creatorwizard.com/10K challenge. And would love to have you in there. It's going to be really fun. All right. So let's talk about, we got some people dropping here in the YouTube chat. We've got Phil Works. Good to see you here, Phil. We've got K&J Lumber saying, Justin, love the audiobook. So thrilled to hear that. K&J Lumber, says, I can't join the 10K event because I'm going on vacation, but I'll join the next one. No worries, guys. Totally understand and hope you enjoy your vacation. Disney Mom Life says, currently listening to the audiobook about 25% in and loving it. All right. So I have a very small request for both K&J Lumber and Disney Mom Life. Once you get to a point in the book where you feel like you are getting like value from it, would you potentially leave me a review on Audible? I have quite a few Amazon reviews, but I think I have like less than 5 Audible reviews now because it just came out like 2 weeks ago. So yeah, that would mean so much to me, especially like not just like rating it, but like leaving like a paragraph or a little sentence or whatever about why you liked it. That would mean the world to me. I super appreciate it. Man, this book game is a grind, guys. Like I feel like it's like hand-to-hand combat, like trying to like get reviews for this book, because for better or for worse, like people make purchase decisions based on reviews. Like it's just like the way it goes on a platform like Amazon. And so it's been like my absolute priority to try to, anytime anyone DMs me or emails me saying like, hey, thank you so much for the book. I got so much value out of it, or I just got a brand deal, or I just, got maybe way more money on a brand deal, whatever. I always make a point to like ask people like, hey, would you mind leaving a review? Even though it feels a little weird. I'm just like, I don't know. I feel weird like asking people for stuff, but like it helps like that. If my goal is to help impact as many creators as possible with my message, with the things that I believe, then I got to be willing to get into that uncomfy territory and like make the ask of like, would you please leave a review for this? So that would really mean a lot to me about leaving a review, especially on Audible if you downloaded the audiobook. Disney Mom Life says, I love the interviews in the audiobook. Thank you. That means a lot to me. I went to a lot of work to like make those happen, and the fact that that's coming through and was providing value to you, that means a lot. Cheryl says, I will leave a review on Amazon and Audible. Thank you, Cheryl. I super appreciate it. Let's see here. T on YouTube says, this sounds awesome, Justin, the 10K challenge. What are the requirements to take part in it? And what time will it be on these days? So T, there's really no requirements. I purposely made, on the page, I said like, if you've got at least 5,000 followers, like you should be doing this. Like you absolutely should be doing this. But even that's kind of arbitrary. Like I've had people take it who were just starting out just because they wanted to be equipped. They knew that sponsorships was going to play a big role in their business as they built out their YouTube channel, their podcast, their newsletter, like, social media, whatever. And so they wanted to be equipped with like understanding how they could collaborate with brands in a heightened capacity. And so regardless, even if you've never started, you can absolutely participate in this because you're going to, learn a lot of the kind of baseline frameworks that will equip you, once you start adding sponsorships onto your revenue strategy. So so that's the first question. Second part of the question is, what time will it be on these days? It's going to be 9 a.m. Central Time. So that's 10 a.m. Eastern, starting on Thursday. So there's 5 live sessions. There's Thursday, Friday are live sessions, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are all live sessions. And then also there's an ability to, if you'd like, to upgrade to what I call VIP, where I'm going to be doing bonus Q&As with a smaller group of people after the main session. And so there's like an additional investment to participate in those, but I'm doing 5 live Q&As. So it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot of FaceTime. So I'm really excited about doing it. So would love to see you there, T. Travel with Bo says, finished the audiobook and ordered the physical copy as well. So helpful. Unfortunately, I'll be out of town and won't be able to join this challenge. Hopefully the next one. Bo, no worries. Dude, that means a lot to me that you would get both the audiobook and a physical book. Like, are you kidding me right now? Dude, seriously, I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. And yes, if you would like be willing to leave some reviews for both the books, that would be incredible. So thank you. Andrew Relia, what's going on, dude? Not weird hearing you ask for a review. You do it respectfully and it doesn't feel overdone or sleazy. Thank you, Andrew. That means a lot to me. And I owe you an email back. I have an email from you in my inbox. Again, I was on vacation, so I apologize for not getting back to you. I'm so thrilled that you joined the challenge and appreciate you giving me some feedback on like why you decided to join. So good to see you here on the live stream, man. We've got Delilah tuning in. Good to see you here, Delilah. Disney Mom Life over here on the Instagram chat says, because of your YouTube channel, I got triple what I normally make from my last brand deal. I asked them what their budget was. Thank you. Holy cow. Come on, guys. Let's just give it up for Disney Mom Life 1 in the Instagram chat. Come on, let's do some golf claps. I got to screenshot that one. Holy cow. I'm so proud of you. That's amazing. Super, super cool. All right, I'm going to take a quick swig and then we're going to get into it. Okay. So let's talk about some of the kind of primary themes that I'm going to be covering in the 10K brand deal challenge. And you know what? While I'm talking about this, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to go ahead and I am going to put a ticker on the bottom of the screen that says join the 10K brand deal challenge. Why wouldn't I do that? And add, can I add something else onto it? Oh yeah. How do I do this? Oh wait, no, that's not right. And then I need to add the URL like this. I should have done this before, sorry. There we go. Join the 10K brand deal challenge. Okay, so let's start here. How can you articulate to a brand that the reason they should pay you 10 times more is not because you're doing 10 times the amount of work? I was actually just talking with a creator in my mastermind this morning. I have this mastermind that I started back in April that is it's amazing. It's one of my most favorite things that I do. I work with a group of about 12 or 11 creators, and we meet every 2 weeks, and we are, exploding their sponsorship and income from April until December. I launched it on the back end of my in-person event. It's one of my most favorite things that I do because it's just like, it's so fulfilling being able to work with like a concentrated group of people over a long time span. And one of the things that we were talking about was like, some of these are, I'm going to anonymize this, but like, the deals that these people are working on are like multi 5-figure, 6-figure type deals, oftentimes. And, one creator in particular was getting into some sort of kind of consulting arrangement with a brand. And this brand has never really done much influencer marketing before, but they are venture backed. And so sometimes it can be a bit tricky to like, how do I, if you've watched my content or read my book or things like that, one of the first things that I advise people to do is like, okay, let's scope the deal. Let's understand 2 things. One, what are the brand's objectives, right? Awareness, repurposing, conversion. That's my ARC framework, right? And then also the do rule, right? Which is deliverables, usage rights, exclusivity. What are the deal points? What do they actually want you to do? What do they want to do with your content? Do they not want you to work with their competitors? These types of things. And then you use these 2 things to actually price your packages and your deals and things like that. So this is where I like to start. But one of the most challenging things can be, let me know, anyone in the chat, if you've ever experienced this, where you're on a phone call with the brand or you're asking some of those initial scoping questions and the brand just like puts their arms up like, I don't know, we've never done this before. You tell us, this type of thing, which can feel very frustrating because it's like, okay, well, what do I have to go off of here? Where do I go from here? And this is where it's so important to put your hat on as a consultant, as an educator of like, okay, actually it's my job to educate the brand on and provide a recommendation saying, okay, well, knowing that you've never really done this before, here's what I think you should do. Not like, hey, what do you think we could do this? We could do this. We could do this. It's like, no, here's what I think we should do. And for this reason, I think a lot of us are nervous about leaning into our own expertise, and we're nervous about making, feeling as though the brand would be like, well, who are you to say that? What's your credentials? Where do you have a degree in marketing or business or whatever? Like, you don't have millions of followers, so who are you to say this? And my advice in those scenarios is I was like, look, the brand's not going to say that. In fact, they're going to be so appreciative and thankful for this feedback that you're giving them because no one else is offering this. And so a big part of understanding, like, okay, it's not just about me doing 10 times the amount of deliverables for this brand. It's what would it be worth to them where they could feel confident and comfortable coming to me with a question, being like, hey, Justin, we're thinking about launching a TikTok account, or we're thinking about launching a podcast, or we're thinking about hiring these like 5 people. What do you think? Do you think we should hire them? Do you think this is the right approach? Do you think this is the right strategy? Do you think this is the right promotion, the right coupon code, the right seasonal thing that we're running here? We've never done this before, but it seems like you know what you're doing. It seems like you have your finger on the pulse of your community, of what works well. What do you think? What is that worth to the brand to be able to come to you and ask that type of question? Drop it in the chat. What do you think something like that is worth to the brand? While we're waiting for this, Goose Painting Duluth says, I'm watching you right now because you got recommended by Christian Manhart and Jessica DiPietro. They talk very highly about you. Goose Painting, it's so wonderful to connect with you. Jessica and Christian, absolutely love them. They are just so fantastic. They are actually in my mastermind. And Duluth, are you in Minnesota? Because I am in the Twin Cities as well. So there we go. We got that connection. So very, very nice to connect with you. So yeah, let me know in the chat. Is this making sense? Where it's like, okay, what would that be worth to the brand to be able to come to you asking for that type of feedback, asking for that type of advice? In fact, just a little bit of inside baseball here. I am in the process of negotiating a deal like this right now, where because I'm the guy that wrote the book on this thing, basically, it has kind of like shaken loose people and businesses and companies much, much larger than I ever would have expected. So they kind of now look at me as the expert. And okay, first of all, let me take a second here. You're saying, okay, yeah, Justin, you wrote a book on that. Easy for you to say. But no. I'm not saying you have to write a book. I'm just saying perhaps this might mean you putting out some kind of like thought leadership-y type stuff that positions you as someone who has a stance, not someone who just curates information, but someone who actually creates opinions, stances on things, because people look to those people as folks who have the answers. And you don't have to have all the answers, but you have to have an opinion. And it can be backed by experience. It can be backed by, what's worked for me and my brand partners in the past. You're not saying this is guaranteed to work, but what you're saying is based on the last 5 campaigns I've done, or based on, these last 5 buckets of content that I've tried, the interview format and the Q&A format and the blah, whatever your content niche is, I think that this will work best for your brand. Man, brands will crave that type of information. And this is why they're going to start to understand, okay, I guess I understand why we have to pay Justin 10 times as much as these other random creators who are just posting, quoting us $1,000, $2,000 for an Instagram reel or something. Justin's actually proposing to get on monthly or quarterly calls with us to analyze the strategy, see what's working. He's going to be providing reporting to us. He's going to be, change course correcting the positioning or the key messages of the next iteration or the next pulse of the content based on our feedback of like what people are saying, our feedback from the brand team, comments that we're seeing, on those initial posts. So a lot of these types of things are what is going to help you break that glass ceiling. Is this making sense? Is this making sense? Delilah says, I have the physical and the audiobook too. Delilah, thank you so much. I super, super appreciate it. All right, let's see here. Philwork says, I hate it when brands do that. Having a list to make your points is helpful. Yeah, actually, this is a great point, Phil. One other really useful exercise, like work that you can do in advance of calls that you get on with brands, is to develop a list of, like, let's say 5 to 10 industry specific questions that you can ask that will make it very clear to this prospective partner that you know your stuff. You're not just another run of the mill creator or influencer. You're not just some random person who's in it for a money grab. You are thoughtful. You care about the outcome of a potential partnership with this brand. When you're asking questions about like how if you're physical, like let's say Goose Painting, right? Like you're talking with Sherwin-Williams or some brand or something, and you're like, how's the supply? Is your supply chain impacted by the tariff situation right now? What other creator is going to ask them a question like that? But like, this is a real thing. Like I share a story in my book Sponsor Magnet, which is so beautifully behind my shoulder, but I share for those of you who guys are just joining me for the first time, I wrote this book called Sponsor Magnet, and I share a story in there about how we did a deal with the brand and everything got approved. Like, we shot it, we made the video, it was approved. We were just waiting to post, and like literally like a day or two, I think it was like a day or two, or right before the content was about to go live, they came to us and said, oh my gosh, we are out of stock on this item. That's like worst case scenario. They just agreed to pay us a bunch of money, right? And if we went live with that content and all of our followers tried to purchase it, it would be out of stock. What a catastrophic situation for an influencer marketing campaign. So you better believe that like supply chain considerations matter, especially when it comes to physical product businesses. Right. So these are the types of things that you have to be thinking about. So having this like list of questions that are, they don't all have to be industry specific. Like that was just one example. It could just be something as simple as like, have you worked with creators before? If you have, how did that go? Did it go well? Did it not go so well? Why did it not go so well? What are some of your concerns or hesitations about working with creators? Can you talk about specific like things that happen? Like when we used to ask this question, when I ran my agency, I would ask these types of questions a lot of like brands who were going to be spending a lot more money. Like they wanted to spend, let's say hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I would ask like, what are some of your hesitations or concerns about doing influencer marketing? And a lot of them would kind of quote these like news articles that they would read about like, oh, this brand paid this, Instagram creator with 1 million followers and they generated like 2 sales or whatever. And so they had this like caricature of what influencer marketing is. It's like this vanity thing where you pay someone with lots of followers and they're supposed to generate lots of sales. And then you have these like cherry picked examples that are not representative at all. If you're going to be thoughtful about an influencer strategy, this is some of the inherent bias that some of these brands have that you have to overcome. It's an objection that you have to overcome in any sales process. This is not just for me running an influencer marketing agency. You also have to have this same mindset as an individual creator when you're having a conversation with the brand and they're giving you some of these objections. They're volunteering. If they're not volunteering it and maybe you're asking and they're telling you, but you should be thinking and be thoughtful about what is my response here. If this brand says, well, we partner with a creator in your niche with more followers, with more average viewership, we paid them this amount of money and it didn't get the return, what is your answer going to be? What are you going to say back instead of stammering? This is why a lot of people are worried about getting on a phone call with a brand, because they're worried about, oh my God, what's going to happen? What would I do in that scenario? A couple things. One, first of all, you should come to Sponsor Games next year because this is exactly what we do. We do role play to practice this type of thing. Negotiation role play, pitch role play, practicing these scenarios. If the brand says this, what do you do? If you want to reach out to the brand and they say this, what do you do? A lot of it comes down, I think a lot of people think that brand partnerships, like being good at negotiation and sales, it's like innate. It's like, oh, everyone has this skill set. It's like, no, I sucked at this stuff. Like, I don't know about you, but I did not go to school to I got my business degree, but I didn't I'm not a cold heart. I was never in sales. I was in product management, like in my professional life in medical devices. So I wasn't in sales. I had to learn this stuff. My pitches sucked. If you read my book, you could saw some of my early pitches that they sucked. Right. And so this is one of the reasons why I'm so excited about the 10K brand deal challenge, because it's like, okay, let's get all these people off the fence here. Like, this stuff can be learned. Let's practice it. Let's do it together. If you've got some dream brands that you want to reach out to, let's craft these pitches. Let's start hitting send on some of these emails, because once you get past that first no, that first couple no's, that first 10 no's, the first 50 no's, right? It gets easier, right? I think I think people feel as though this process of collaborating with brands is so fraught, right? It's like, if my dream brand says no to me, that means they're never going to work with me. No, it's not no. It's not yet. If they're not ready for whatever reason, budget-wise, strategy-wise, you're not the right fit with your reach or your following or whatever, it's not no, it's just not yet. And so what will it take for you to get to a point where the brand is ready? There's things outside of your control that you have, that, there's nothing you can do about the fact that they don't have budget for this quarter or whatever. Or what are the things that you can be doing in parallel to make yourself more attractive to these brand partners? Is this making sense? For anyone listening or watching, come back to me here. Can you give me a 1 in the chat? Can you give me a praise hands emoji? Give me the thinking person's emoji, or maybe the person raising their hand like you're paying attention now. Come on, give me some feedback here that I'm making sense right here. Okay? I'm gonna take a swig. I need some feedback here. Okay. All right, let's see here. We got a couple questions here that I would love to address here. K&J Lumber says, we do not get many average views per video, 1K tops at the moment. How can we get deals with little to zero bargaining chips? So K&J Lumber, this is like a really great question. And I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I didn't even try that one, K&J Lumber. I'm going to go out on a limb. Come on. Anyways. See, if you can't make yourself laugh when you're making content, like, what are we even doing here? Right? Like, I have a joke drum sound effect specifically to make myself laugh. Anyways. Sorry. So K&J Lumber, here's a pitch for you. Here's what I would do if I were you. I would hire a VA off of Upwork to create a list of the top 100 lumber yards in the United States by sales volume, if that data is around. Or if you don't want to do sales volume, you could pick another. You could pick another stat. You could organize them by, like, give me the top 50 lumber yards in the top 50 major metros in the United States, or find some studies around, like, where is construction. I don't know if you talk about residential versus like commercial buildings or whatever, but like, where is the most construction happening around which major metros right now, and develop a list of the top lumber yards around those metros, and cold email them and say, your pitch to them becomes, hey, I see that you're doing a big volume of business here. I was looking at this article. I saw you're ranked and blah, 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 blah. We could figure that out, what that is. But I noticed on your website here, there's some like pretty important information that like video tutorials that I think would be really great for you to have and embed on your website to help educate lumber purchasers, whether this is residential, commercial, whatever. And these are like evergreen type videos, right? Like, what type of lumber do you choose for these different types of construction scenarios, or when you're building on this foundation type versus this foundation type, like clay versus rock versus, I'm totally making this up because it's not my specialty, but I'm just saying these types of I'm sure you could think of off the top of your head 50 tutorial type videos that these lumber yards would absolutely love to have embedded on their website. Maybe that they could even use it for paid advertising. You could create custom versions of these videos that they could use to run paid ads to contractors within 15 miles of their lumber yard or something. And they use your videos to do it. So they don't care at all that you're getting 1,000 videos tops on your YouTube channel, K&J Lumber, because that's not what you're pitching. You're pitching that you're going to create content for them, for their website, for their social media, for their paid advertising efforts. And the beautiful part about this is that how much you can charge them is completely detached from how many views you're getting or how many subscribers you have on your YouTube channel. Is this making sense, K&J Lumber? Thank you for everyone, by the way. Thank you for everyone laughing at the joke drum, because there's a little bit of a delay on the live stream, and I'm starting to hear the crying face, crying laughing emojis come through. This is making me really happy. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So K&J Lumber, let me know if if this is making sense, because this is really how I approach it. When people come to me and say, I'm not getting a lot of views, I'm not getting a lot of impressions, is it even worth it for me? What's my negotiating leverage? It's like, let's be creative here. Let's think about, like, in fact, you know what? I'm just gonna do this. You know what? I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna Google something, and then I am going to share my screen. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. Let me share my screen. Okay, so here's what I did. Let's see here. Sorry, let me share my screen. So as I mentioned, I live in the Twin Cities. So what I did is I Googled Minneapolis Lumberyard. Okay? I Googled Minneapolis Lumberyard, and one of the top ranking sites is Siwick Lumber and Millwork. This is in northeast Minneapolis, and let's take a look at their website. So what's the first thing that we can see? Seems like a pretty old website, in terms of the graphic design. They've got a contact form. They've got, the 4 different types of things that they do: doors, lumber, redwood, garden beds, etc. They've got request a quote. They've got building materials, millwork. So they've got different pages on here. But when you click on all of these pages, K&J Lumber, I'm talking to you, I'm doing this, there is absolutely no videos. So wouldn't it be awesome if you could create some educational videos for them that they could embed on some of these pages that would help their customers make more informed purchase decisions? Obviously, for their custom stuff, like, you're not really going to be able to make videos for that unless you sell them to fly out and make videos for them, which you could do. But like, higher level stuff, right? Like, how do you know choosing the right type of lumber for your different construction product? I mentioned that earlier. So is this making sense? Is this helpful for anyone else? Obviously, like K&J Lumber, this was an example for them, but like, is this useful for anyone else that's seeing this? Drop it in the chat if this is useful for you as well. Because it only took me 2 seconds of Googling to find a potential candidate that if I was K&J, if I had a channel called K&J Flava J Lumber, that's what my channel would be called, Flava J Lumber. Did you guys know that I'm going to do a little bit of lore here. I was in a breakdancing crew in middle school, and my name was Flava J. I was the guy who did the headspins and the windmill. If you think that that's not true, I should have done like 2 truths and a lie or something like that. What do you guys think about that? If you want, give me some validation here. Maybe the disco dancing guy, like this type of thing. Give me some validation here. Who else was in a breakdancing crew? Just me? Just Flava J? Okay, anyways. We got Jessica tuning in on Instagram. Good to see you here, Jessica. Yeah, so K&J, hope that was helpful. Okay, let's see. There was a question here. I just wanted to scroll back up real quickly from T. After the brand tells you their budget, how do you decide what to charge your different packages based on that? Would your biggest package total be would your biggest package total to their max amount? So one of the things I talk about in my book, Sponsor Magnet T, is that asking for a budget range versus just their budget, like saying, hey, what's your budget? Asking for a budget range is way more effective because they will feel as though they have an out, where instead of, if you say, oh, what's your budget? They're going to say, oh, 10K. They don't want to say that, right? Because then what's your proposal that you're going to send back to them? 10K. And then they're going to have no flexibility to negotiate with you down the line if something changes, their budget gets cut, they want to move forward with 2 people instead of 1. And like here, there's no way to modify their deal with you because they already told you what their budget is, versus them being able to say, oh, 5, 8, 10K. Like that's the range that is like feasible for us. And so to your question, the advice that I give in the book is like, just because they say 10K is their max doesn't mean that you can't give them packages at 15K, 20K, even 30K, maybe even more if it makes sense, specifically to what I call stretch their imagination. oftentimes when brands reach out, they may have come inbound from a specific platform, maybe your YouTube channel or your LinkedIn or your newsletter or your social media. And they thought, well, that's probably where Justin has his primary presence because he has a lot of followers on there. And so we're going to ask him like how much for a YouTube video or whatever, right? They may not have even known that you had a newsletter with 5,000 of your most engaged audience members on it. And the only way that they were able to realize about your ability to amplify the campaign in these other ways is because you speculatively offered them these other packages that were above what they said their max budget was, right? So, oh yeah, the 15K package or the 20K package, that's where you're going to unlock the newsletter blasts, right? Or a guest expert session in my private community or a guest interview on my podcast or whatever, right? And so the brand all of a sudden, oh, we really want that thing. We really want to do the interview. Our CEO loves that. Like, we want to make that happen. So like all of a sudden, oh, poof, we found 5K more. We found 10K more. In fact, in my Brand Deal Wizard class, I have a module, I have a video where I kind of step through an actual negotiation with the brand, and they came inbound saying that their max was like 5 to 8K. And I'm not going to spoil it for you because I stepped through the kind of back and forth. It went back and forth many, many times. But the ultimate number that they paid us was like many multiples of that. And it just like goes to show you that, like, you know, if you can really ascertain what the brand's objectives are, they can find money. They can find money if they really want to move forward with it. So I hope that makes sense, T. All right, let's see here. All right, so let's see. There was another question here from Disney Mom Life. What should we do in a situation where we've fulfilled all the agreed upon deliverables for a brand deal, but the YouTube video underperforms? How can we maintain a positive relationship and position ourselves for future collabs with the brand? So, well, first of all, this is a very, very good question because I think a lot of us are in our head about underperformance. The first question that I want to have for you, Disney Mom Life, and maybe you can tell me your name, so I like actually say your name. The question I have for you, as well as anyone else who has ever been in this situation, is the brand actually telling you that they're disappointed with the underperformance, or are you the one who is feeling sheepish? Because you look at your, average viewership or your average reach or whatever platform it is, and you're like, I normally get 10,000 impressions or 10,000 views per average on video, or 5,000 or 1,000 or whatever it is, and the sponsor one got 200 or 500 or 1,000 when I normally get 10x that or whatever. Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. I never want to go talk to the brand again because, they're going to hate me. Like they probably thought that they were going to get 10,000 views and they got 2,000 or 1,000 and now they hate me. And so my first piece of advice is like, in the absence of any sort of feedback from the brand, don't assume they hate you. In fact, this is one of the primary obstacles to people turning one-off deals into recurring deals, because they do the deal once. It does not go to their standard of like to the creator's standard. And then the creator never talks to the brand again. They get the money and then they just like ride off into the sunset, or actually not right off into the sunset. They like stare in the mirror and they'd be like, don't ever do that again. This type of thing. And so if you have the humility, if you could be low ego enough to actually go back to the brand and be like, hey, how'd it go? Allow the brand the ability to surprise you and say, it went great, right? Brands are often measuring success of partnerships in different ways than you are. Here we are, in our own bubble, because this is what we do all day long, right? Is we ideate, we create, we publish, we market, we produce, we distribute. This is our little universe. That's our feedback loop, right? But a brand oftentimes is measuring things very differently. They're doing the marketing loop. They're creating products, they're creating software, they're creating, they're trying to build awareness, they're trying to get their products out there. They're in like a totally different loop than you are creating content. And so simply creating a video, let's say, that integrates their product, talking about them or showcasing the product in a really favorable or really professional way, that they could then embed on their website, repurpose on their social media, use for paid advertising, put in a slideshow at their all hands marketing meeting, talking about the big product launch or the new feature launch or whatever. That could be enough for the brand to be thrilled and want to renew with you. KJ, is this making sense? Disney Mom Life said their name is KJ. Is this making sense? Because you cannot just assume that the brand is unhappy with you. And even if they are, let's pull the thread. Let's pull the thread on, okay, they actually do tell you. They say, we're disappointed. We thought that it was going to get 10,000 views and it got 2,000. What happened? Or you need to make a free video for us, or you need to do this, or you need to do that. We're upset. Rather than, first of all, like, that's rude. That's rude if they're actually trying to do that. But again, there's some sort of like disconnect here where hopefully you did not guarantee 10,000 views to them, because that often is where people lead the witness. I've seen this in a bunch of pitches that could be improved, which is that they lead with, I get an average of 10,000 views per video in their pitch. My audience demographics are this. I'm getting this many views per month. I have this many newsletter subscribers or podcast download listeners or whatever. And so instantly, if the brand does move forward with you, they're going to just, even though you like didn't promise them contractually or whatever, you may have led with that. And so they just assumed, well, okay, I guess it's going to get 10,000 views or downloads or whatever. And so that's an important thing, is like not guaranteeing that and setting the expectation with the brand that like, well, first of all, understanding their objectives and their goals, right? And ensuring that we're aligning whatever content tactics to those objectives. So if they say that awareness is a big goal for them for this new feature launch, or they're launching in a new territory or whatever, it's your turn then to say, okay, well, I don't think a single post is going to like be enough. And if you're taking that deal just because it's money, you're setting yourself up for failure. Right? No one's going to win in that scenario. Yeah, I guess it's good that you got the money, but like if you take that money knowing that it's actually not going to help them accomplish that objective, whether it's, I hear this one a lot with sales, like people are like, oh, there's no way the brand's going to sell this many subscriptions or this many products with the amount that they're paying me, and so I'm not going to talk to them again because they're probably mad at me. There's a term that I'm starting to workshop of what I'm calling this. And I'm calling it creator malpractice. It's malpractice to accept sponsorships, to accept brand deals, knowing going into it that there's no way that you're going to help have that brand accomplish that objective. And so it's important that you align those expectations with the brand and or be willing to walk away from a deal where it's just not going to be a good fit. That's hard because it's real money, and I understand that. But like your credibility and your reputation in this space as someone who actually walks away from money because it's not going to be advantageous for the brand. Holy cow, I've done this before, and the brands have been so impressed that they literally came back and offered more money at a later date, because they were like, we so respected the fact that you said no initially because you just knew it wasn't going to work out because of the following reasons. We got a bigger budget now for this next quarter's campaign or whatever. Can we work together again? But I get this. I get that this is hard. I get that this is a hard perspective to have, especially if like, man, that $300 would be a big deal right now to help me pay rent or mortgage or groceries or insurance or whatever. Like, I get this. To some degree, getting to a place where you can say no to deals is a privileged position, and I understand that. But at the same time, if all you're doing is taking these like one-off deals where it's not performing well, it's all these kind of one-off things, and then the brand's not working with you again or not talking with you, and you're not following up and asking them if you'd like to work together again with some ideas, then you're going to constantly be on this churn. You're just going to be churning them out. It's like this analogy of a leaky bucket, right? You're filling in all these opportunities into the bottom, but you've got this giant gaping hole in the bottom. And so you're just having to constantly fill to make your revenue every month from sponsorships versus retaining it, plugging that hole, ensuring what can I do to please this client? Even if it didn't go well, I go back to them and I put together a post-campaign report and I talk about the elephant in the room, which was that it got 2,000 views relative to 10,000 views normal. Here's why I think that is. Here's some of the comments that I saw about people that were objecting to that. Maybe the call to or the hook at the beginning could have been better. So there's all these improvements that you propose to them to make on the next iteration of the content. Boom, there we go. We get a renewal and you've plugged that gap now. And so any new clients that you're putting into this bucket are just going to continue to compound your revenue rather than just losing them out of the bottom. Is this making sense? Is this making sense? Drop it in the chat if this is making sense. We've got this thing with Travel with Bo. We've got the, is this like a Polynesian thing, like a Hawaiian thing? Like, let's go. Right? So drop it in the chat. Give me a 1. Give me a money, the guy with the money tongue, if this is making sense. Maybe the money with the wings on it, or the money bag with the dollar sign on it. Is this, give me something here, y'all. All right. Okay, there was another question I saw in the YouTube chat here. Let me go a bit further up. Where did I miss this question? Oh, we got John Willis tuning in the chat. What's up, John? Good to see you here. John says, it depends on the niche of the creator as well. And you need to make sure that the brand aligns with your audience. There's no point in a makeup brand paying me $10K for my camera audience. Well, yes, I do agree with that. But I mean, I bet you could be pretty good at makeup, John. I'm just saying. Good to see you here. Let's see here. I missed a question here, and this is bothering me. I feel like I missed it. Let's see here. T says, hey, Justin, me again. I just saw that days 3 and 4 of the 10K challenge will be self-directed with feedback, but I can't see a time for it. How will that work? I'm interested in joining. Let's see here. So T, when it means self-directed, it means that you're going to be working on your pitches and working on finding the contacts for who to send those pitches to. And the feedback will be peer-driven if that's the level of the challenge that you join, or feedback directly from my coaches if you join the VIP level. And so it doesn't matter what time of the day it'll be Saturday and Sunday as days 3 and 4. And so there's no time on those days. Basically, you'll be logging in and watching some pre-recorded videos that I make just for those days. But all the other days are like synchronous. So it'll be like actually on a call with me. So let me know if that makes sense. We've got Joe Casabona tuning in. Y'all, if you do not know Joe Casabona, he just dropped the emoji with the money tongue. Y'all, Joe is my lead sponsorship coach in my sponsorship coaching program, Wizards Guild, and drum roll please, my new co-host for my Sponsor Magnet podcast. I am so excited, Joe. We already recorded 2 amazing episodes together when we were in Boise for Craft and Commerce, and we got to record them together. It was super fun. The thing that I really appreciate about Joe is that we have a very similar sense of humor. And I've been like toying around with this whole theme of like, I want to make sponsorships fun. Sponsorships feel really heavy, I think, to a lot of people. It's just like, it's like, I got to be super businessy. And I got, in the way in which I communicate with the brands and the way in which I do the sponsorship has to feel super businessy. Why can't it be fun? Why can't we make jokes in it? Why can't we make it enjoyable for our audience to listen to read, to consume? And so I'm really excited to work with Joe more on bringing this podcast to life, because I could talk about sponsorships forever, and it makes it way more fun when you can laugh about it, right? That's all I'm saying. So yeah, very, very excited about that. Look at that. Look at all the emojis that Joe is dropping in the chat here. Absolutely love to see it. Good to see you here, dude. John has a question. Let's see here. Question for you. If you're negotiating with a brand and they've already undercut your rates, but I think we're going to get more because your question cut off. So I'll wait for the full question from you. K&J Lumber's back. Sorry, I had a customer I had to sell lumber to right before you started answering my question. I'm currently 12 minutes behind on playback and catching up. Yeah, you'll get the full answer, and I hope it was good for you. Let's see. Here we go from John. If you're negotiating with a brand and they've already undercut your rates and you manage to negotiate them up a bit, but they've come back with a bigger budget, but it still undercuts you, what do you do? So, man, I think this really depends. Like, I'll be the first one to say that I feel like we all have certain brands and companies on our kind of like short list where we're like, this is a dream brand. This is a brand where I could see a long-term, really fruitful relationship developing with this brand. And I would get really excited about making that happen, even though they may not be paying my like normal rates, my standard rates, the rates that I like to get paid for most deals that I do. Maybe there's some sort of filter mechanism or criteria that you can identify to say like, you know what, I'm actually okay accepting less money for this deal because of the upside, the potential upside that I see in this relationship over time. That is a real thing because again, what is the point? What is the common theme throughout my entire book? It's like sponsorships are a long game. It's not just about this one deal that you're working on right now. It's about how can I increase the LTV, the lifetime value of this relationship, not just this deal, not just maximizing the deal itself. And so like, yeah, if, let's say you normally make $1,000 per video or $5,000 or whatever it is. If you accept $750 for this video, but it turns into a 6-12 month thing, you're going to make way more money in the long run and develop a much better relationship with that sponsor too. So I think that I would probably need to know more information, John, about the context, about the brand. The fact that they're coming up on their budget is a positive sign. Are they working with other creators? What their objectives are? Are there other ways in which you might be able to serve them throughout the year? Are there other ways you might be able to come to them proactively with ideas of things that are outside the scope of the current campaign that they've come to you with that are more proactive on your part, where you're saying like, hey, I know we worked on this thing, but like I've got this other web series that I'm doing or this series of videos that I'm planning. I would love for you to be the exclusive sponsor for the following reasons. And, here's what we can do. And here's what it would be. It's so much easier to negotiate a deal like that if you already have an existing relationship with a sponsor. And John says, very true. I think of the LTV. I hadn't thought of it like that. And that really is always my perspective here is like, and there's like this second order benefit of this, John, which is that people move around different companies all the time, or they get promoted within the organization. But this happens constantly, especially if you're working with an agency. If you can, if it's like very clear to them that you're like, okay, I want to make this work. I want to make you win. I want to help you with this. What's going to happen when they move to another company in a similar category, or they make a parallel move or a lateral move to another agency or something like that? They're going to remember John. They're going to remember John and how great he was to work with, how flexible he was working with at the budget constraints. How do you know whether this person's budget at this other brand is going to be 2, 3, 4, 5x what the other brand was when they were more constrained? Dude, I've been doing this a really long time, dude. And that's how it happens. And so it's just like developing your reputation as someone who's like a good partner and willing to see the long term is a big differentiator. So hope that helps. All right, we've got Luke360 tuning in on Instagram. We've got Julia Christine Home. We've got Tyler Harmount. For those of you guys who are just tuning in, I wanted to mention that my 10K brand deal challenge starts on Thursday. Enrollment ends tomorrow at midnight Central. So if you're watching this, it's July 8th right now, Tuesday. So Wednesday, July 9th. At midnight Central is when enrollment ends for my challenge. And it's going to be a bunch of fun. There's going to be 5 live calls. If you upgrade to the VIP, there's actually 5 additional Q&A calls at the end of each session. And you're going to be learning about what does it actually take to get your first 10K brand deal or your next 10K brand deal if you've already done that a few times. And I'm very, very excited about this. I love doing these types of quick sprints, like focus sprints, several times a year. I'm going to start doing these probably quarterly, because it's just a way to like get, okay, I've been taking my eye off the ball, of sponsorships, or I've just been focusing on my content, or I've just been focusing on these other revenue streams. But like, I really need to make a more concerted effort about sponsorships. Okay, great. I'm going to join Justin's challenge. Like, let's do this. It's 7 days. I'm going to get some of these pitches sent out, this type of thing. And so I really want to have these mechanisms in the business where I can serve y'all for, I think, a relatively modest investment to just kind of like have an accountability partner here to make some stuff happen. John says, can you drop a link? Yes, I will drop a link, John. There we go. The 10K challenge. Let's go. CreatorWizard.com/10K challenge. We got some, I'm just going to go ahead and say this. We got some pretty incredible people that have joined the challenge already, including some TV stars, actually, guys. This is pretty crazy. We actually just sent out an email inviting everyone into the pop-up. We have like a pop-up space in our private community for the duration of the challenge. And we just invited everyone who joined already into there. And it's just been super cool seeing everyone in there, introducing themselves, sharing their goals and so on. So it's, I just love doing these things. It's always such a great, experience. John says, I owe Justin a beer for the money he's making me. Let's go. Let's go. I appreciate it. I appreciate that, dude. Let's see here. She Fires, good to see you here. Hey, Justin, thanks for the deal challenge. I'm thinking about it. I would love to see you in there, She Fires. It's going to be fire. God, I'm on a roll today. I'm on a roll today, guys. Hobby Hunt says, hey, Justin, I love the quarterly idea, but I can't make it to this one, sadly. No worries, dude. I understand it's the summer. Maybe a bit tough for people who are traveling, vacation, etc., but hope to see you in the next one. So we got about a few more minutes here. I'm going to just do a quick scan to see if I missed any questions. Before we, let's see here. Let's see here. We got a new question from She Fires, 2-part question regarding UGC, so user generated content. What is the best way to approach this with a brand? And would it be a good idea to create one generic UGC video that can serve as a sample for other brands to pitch? What's the best way to approach this with a brand? And would it be a good idea to create one generic UGC video that can serve as a sample? Let's see here. I want to make sure I understand your question because I think I'm not getting the first part. Did you post the first part somewhere else? Maybe you can restate it because I'm not sure exactly what your question is. It seems like not a 2-part question. So clarify for me before I answer. John says, do you have the VIP link? So John, the VIP link is right after you check out. When you join the next page, there'll be an opportunity to join the VIP link there. It's like a 1-click upgrade thing, but you won't see the VIP thing until after you check out with the challenge. So it's like the next screen basically. Hope that makes sense. She Fires. I'm still trying to parse this question. Generally, okay, so like generally just like the main part of the question is like creating something generic that you could try to pitch to all brands. It's going to be a tougher sell because it's going to be pretty clearly not relevant to me. In fact, I wish I wouldn't have deleted it. But I got a DM. I get DMs all the time from people who are the most typical DM I get is people offering to like book sales calls on my behalf or get me leads basically for my coaching program. And it's super annoying because I get literally like 10 a day or 20 a day. And someone sent me, and they're all very generic, but someone sent me a video into my DMs on Instagram yesterday. And I was like, oh, a video, that's cool. Let me watch it. And like the video turned on, they're like, he was like, hey mate, I just checked out your page and we help people exactly like you doing blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, you didn't say my name. You don't even say the type of content that I do. So like clearly this was like made where you're trying to just like copy and paste this to a bunch of different people. And it was a turnoff. It was like, okay, clearly this person is it's this kind of spray and pray approach to, trying to find customers or clients. And so I would suggest that that's probably what you're going to experience if you tried to do that approach. I again, like, if you have one day every 2 weeks where you create 5 custom videos that you send to brands, that's going to be a way better use of your time than trying to send one video that you make one time to 100 brands. Like, come on, what are we even talking about here? like it's not that much work to make like get good at it, practice, get a teleprompter on your phone. You got a teleprompter app on your phone, right? Do this type of thing, right? Hey, you know, Janie, it's so awesome. I saw you were doing XYZ. You've got the teleprompter here. I was trying to, you know, would love to work with you on blah, 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 blah. And you use the rope method in chapter 1 of my book, Sponsor Magnet. Boom, end video, upload it as unlisted, you know, to your YouTube channel. Send that to them. Yeah, like, come on, what are we talking about here? That takes like, you know, yeah, even if it takes you 30 minutes per video in the beginning, a couple hours of your time once every 2 weeks, and you're sending custom videos to these brands. In fact, one of the things you'll see in our 10K Brand Deal Challenge is that I actually advise people to do video pitches. Video pitches can be super powerful when you're trying to cut through the noise, because especially like, wow, everyone has access now to large language models like ChatGPT and Claude and things like that, where like pretty much everyone can write a good enough sounding email now. So how are you going to cut through the noise? Well, maybe a video pitch will help. Maybe a video pitch will help. Delilah says, I did the challenge the first go round and it was the best decision ever. I highly recommend it to anyone who makes content. It is so incredibly helpful, Delilah. I'm so thrilled to hear that. Thank you so much for that testimonial. She's not a plant, by the way. Thank you. And yeah, SheFire says, thanks, Justin. I guess I need to join the challenge now. Yes, I didn't mean to like shame you into joining the challenge, but you should join, because it's going to help a lot. And you know what? I'm going to pull this up on the screen. I'm going to pull this thing up here because I definitely need to screenshot this, Delilah. There we go. Come on, let's go. Here we go. Screenshot face. We did it. I got it. Anyways, thank you all so much for tuning in to today's live stream. I love doing these every week. It's like one of my most favorite things that I do. John just says, I'm in the 10K challenge. VIP is a no-brainer. Let's go. So glad to hear that, John. Great to see you in there, man. And if you're interested in joining, you can go to creatorwizard.com/10K challenge. And hopefully I'll see you on Thursday when the challenge starts. All right, everyone. See you next week.